Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another stream. Today we have a lot of earnings report stocks to look at, okay? We have quite a few. So we kind of gotta get rocking and rolling here fairly soon because there's a lot of them. We're just going to mention them. We're not going to go over game plans and go-tos and how-tos for every single one of them because we just don't simply have the time, unfortunately. One life, one chance. Good morning to you as well. Splendid. Figures. So we'll wait a few here for some more people to get in the stream. So once YouTube does what it's supposed to do and send out notifications, then we'll get going. Good morning, Amel. Bahala. Good morning. So today we'll look at Snapchat. We got IRBT. There's TXN. There's about a billion to look at. Wow, YouTube is really killing it this morning. Well, we don't have time to waste, so we're just going to get to sharing the screen, and once YouTube decides to do their job correctly, then that'll be great. Alrighty. All right, so anyways, Snapchat, they reported earnings. This one I traded yesterday after hours. I made a video about that. I'm sure some of you guys probably already seen that one, but yeah, Snapchat was fun yesterday after hours trading it. Nonetheless, I'm not a big fan of the whole chart formation right now because you can see we went down, we went back up, then we went down, then we went up, and now we're coming back down. Ultimately, I want to be bullish on the stock, but right now the chart formation isn't in any sort of pattern formation that I would attempt to trade right now. That could change as the bell, opens up and obviously we get more volume into the stock. Things could change, but for now there's nothing there that suits my needs to want to really trade it. So I'll probably just kind of have that on standby for the time being. KCMA38, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, next one on the list we can take a look at. There's something called IRBT, not something, it's a stock. This one got annihilated from 61 down to 43. So that's a big move, and you can kind of see it starting to bounce and trail up. So initially this morning I wanted to be short on it, but that doesn't mean there won't be a long play. All right, so as this kind of stair steps up towards the bell, we could also be looking at a reversal trade out of the gates where instead of it going down, it kind of squeezes up. So that's another scenario we're kind of watching and looking for, is as you see this kind of come down here to 43, then it goes kind of flat, and now we're starting to curl up. So if that pattern kind of continues to the bell, we might get a long push up instead of down. So IRBT will be watching for a trade today. And also note that it has a lot of range. It came from 61 all the way down to 43. And then even to kind of like the closing price of yesterday, which is 54, you're still $10 a share away. So if this somehow reclaimed 50% of the drop, that's a 5-point move. So there's $5 per share to make on the way up, if that's the case. If we look at the daily chart here, chances are IRBT is going to be near some type of support. What was it at? It was at 45. Oh, wow. Hold on. Yeah. So, yeah, if you look back here, you'll see that, we have kind of this dip, like this right here, this whole dip area, that's pretty much the support that's running into right around 44, 45s, etc. So we are into a small support, right? And we're starting to bounce. So we'll be watching IRBT for maybe one of those reversal long trades. Well, IRBT isn't really a cup, so you can't say cup and handle because there's no cup yet on that. Okay. All right, something else to pay attention to is Caterpillar. So I'm just going to quickly kind of fly through these real fast. But Caterpillar reported earnings. You can see this is doing decent. I don't really like it all that much. Let me put it on the 4-hour chart. So that's what it kind of looks like. This 4-hour chart I do like to the long side. The 1-minute chart's kind of like funky looking. It hasn't quite developed yet. So right now the 1-minute chart and kind of your smaller time frames are kind of still on standby. But when I look at the 4-hour chart, I go, okay, like that's not bad. We had this nice move up, big move down, back up. Then we had the earnings results go all the way down. They're coming back up. So we're kind of pressing back up towards this high mark here of 134. 134. So this I could see having a long push kind of over this top. And that's what I would follow for Caterpillar today if you're going to watch it. And even if you watch this, if I extend this to the left, where is that? There it is. So if I extend that to the left, look where it ends up, right at this resistance, right? So even if it gets over, so what we're saying is, maybe a long over this top. Well, a long over this top would also be a long over this previous resistance back here, right? So that could be a beautiful long play if it does in fact kind of break out of this topping zone, because we have 2 resistance marks there, and long story short, could have a nice breakout from that zone. So definitely going to be watching Caterpillar today, probably to the long side, okay? Because you got to think, we had the earnings report come out, it got pushed all the way down, and then it got bought all the way back up, right? So think about it. A move down, then goes all the way back up just to stay there, right? I always use an example, right? I always use an example of this, right? A real life example. Whenever we see a stock kind of make a move one way and then go right back the other way, all the way to where it began or a little bit further, I always explain it like this. If a stock is going to go down or up, and then shortly after reverse and then go all the way back up to reclaim the downward move, or if a stock's going to go up and then come crashing down and reclaim the move that it made up, then typically it wants to maybe continue in that direction. And I always use the example of, if you leave your house, right? The only way, like if you leave your house to go do something, the only way that you're probably going to turn around and go back to the house is if you forgot something. And the only way you're turning around to go back to your house is if you forgot something really, really important, which in today's world would be like a wallet or a phone, right? Anything else, like you forgot your hat, like you forgot your lipstick or something like that, you could probably live without for a day. But your wallet or your phone, most people would frantically panic and say, I can't be without that for the day. And that's most likely what would cause you to turn all the way around and go back home, right? So the way I think about it here when it comes to stocks is, if this is going to move down, right? If we're going to see this move down and then go all the way back up just after it came all the way down, then clearly there's an important reason, or many times there's a reason why it did that, and it's not something to brush to the side, right? It's to think about, okay? Alrighty, enough of that little spiel, but I'm sure you guys learned something really cool there, because no one else teaches it like that. That's why we're the Boiler Room, That's why we are who we are. Alrighty. Now, that's Caterpillar. TXN, we'll look at TXN real quick, which is Texas Instruments. By the way, I hate this company. I don't really hate them, but just whenever I see the name Texas Instruments, I just think of school, and I think of the generic test that our school system makes you take, which pretty much does you no good. The only time I can say that math was ever a useful thing to learn in my life was in like 4th or 5th grade. After 4th or 5th grade, math was, well, that's a lie. Maybe like 6th grade. Like maybe like when you learn to divide fractions. Like other than that, pretty much everything else is pointless. And pretty much all school systems should stop teaching algebra and anything above dividing, multiplying, and adding fractions. They should stop teaching altogether unless a student absolutely wants to or has to take that class based on some type of job he is going to get in the future, which would require him to know that so that he can perform his job right. Because any job else, nobody needs it. It's pretty much pointless. So you could start filling those time frames with needed lessons like financial literacy, building good credit, buying a home, why the government is shady, things that are actually important. All right, but anyways, Texas Instruments, they got smoked, and I didn't know this. I'm gonna go through a couple questions here in just a second, but Texas Instruments gets smoked after hours, right? And when that happened, NVIDIA ended up getting rocked too. And I was watching NVIDIA after hours yesterday. I was on my computer and I see NVIDIA going down. I'm like, why is that getting crushed so much? And it comes to find that there's a couple pieces and things are going around the net. And so I guess Texas Instruments had to do with kind of the decrease in a lot of the chip stocks. So anyways, something to think about. But I'm going to kind of read a couple of these questions. What time do I regularly stream? Monday through Friday from about 8:34, 8:35 till about 9 in the morning. And that's Monday through Friday if I decide to be on. Some mornings, some of our team members might not be online, so we might be shorthanded. And I can't get on. Other mornings I might not be trading, so I might not just get on in general. But if I'm not here online streaming, there's usually a reason, a reason why. Either too busy to get on, shorthanded, or I'm catching up, watching The Bachelorette or something early in the morning, something really important like The Bachelorette, so, yep. Mr. Singh, your question about Thinkorswim, paper trading to get it to real-time live code. I believe you can. I've never done it myself. I've known others to do it. I believe the process, I think you have to call them or message them through their support on the platform and then ask to have your paper trading switch to real-time live quotes, but still paper. I think they can do that. I just have never done it myself, so I don't know the actual process, but I'm pretty sure you can. In TOS, on earnings, what are the blue and red icons? That's them indicating earnings, Tech Junkie. So those blue and red circles, those are the symbols of a stock reporting earnings or when they're going to. So you could look at the stock BYND right now, and you'll see those blue and red icons coming up in like a couple days. I think that's on the 29th. You'll see those blue and red icons on BYND's chart, and that's because that is the day or date that they're going to do their earnings report. So that's what that means. Which is stronger, Disney or Netflix? Disney. That's a good question. Personally, I think Disney's a stronger company, if you ask me, right? And it depends on what you're asking and how you're talking about it. Because if you think about Disney, think about Disney. And then think about Netflix. All right, think about Disney, and then think about Netflix. Disney blows Netflix out of the water every single day. When I think of Disney, I think of Mickey Mouse, I think of Cinderella, I think of Disney World, I think of about 1 trillion movies I've seen growing up, right? There's a brand, and there's multiple faces to the company Disney, right? When you think of Netflix, right? you don't think of anything. You just think of laying in your bed, right? And for some, they think about maybe that one woman or man they had over that was, a one-night stand bad decision for Netflix and chilling. But when you think of Disney, think of love and Mickey Mouse and Cinderella, the Beauty and the Beast, and, kids snuggling with their family, popcorn. Like, Disney has a brand around them. Same thing with Coca-Cola, right? Same thing with, I don't know, some other company, but like Coca-Cola, right? They have that polar bear and Coca-Cola, and that's the thing. When you think about pop, right? If I ask you to think about pop right now, what's the first thing you're going to think of? I mean, you may not think of Coca-Cola specifically, but you're probably going to think of pop or soda, and what's going to come to mind is probably going to be a black carbonated drink, which is most likely Coca-Cola, right? You're not going to instantly think like, oh yeah, like red pop or orange Fanta. Like, that's not the pop or soda that's going to come to your head instantly. You're instantly going to think of Coca-Cola, and that's that brand. That's how much they've been instilled in you growing up or through over the course of your lifetime. Netflix has only been around for, I don't know, we'll call it maybe 15, probably like 15 or 16 years, right? So they still got a lot of ways to go. All right, we'll take a look at Boeing real fast, just because somebody asked. Oh yeah, so Boeing. This is another one today. I mean, there's about a bajillion of them, guys. I mean, I really can't go over every single one of the stocks that's reporting today because there's about a trillion of them. But you get the point. Anyways, yeah, Boeing doesn't look terrible. I actually kind of like the way this looks. I think you should watch Boeing for a long. I mean, let me rephrase it. I think I'd watch Boeing for a long because, well, it's been beaten down. Well, it really just had that one bad day, and then since then it's kind of been just hanging out. And with the earnings here, I haven't read anything about the earnings, so I don't really know exactly what's going on. But, I mean, you can already get the point. I mean, if it came from 377 down to 324, it's hanging at 341. Earnings are somewhat decent. This could have a nice long move, a nice recovery kind of bounce day off of these lows from that big drop. So I think it's worth watching kind of over, like 341, like 342 area. What do I think about BIIB popping $100 with the FDA approval with no FDA approval? Yeah, I got to read more about that company because it has to do with their Alzheimer's drugs. And they're saying it could be like groundbreaking, but everything's like I mean, that's the thing. They're saying it could be this new groundbreaking drug, which I don't think that it can't be. I'm sure that it has the potential to be, but everything's groundbreaking these days is what it seems like anyways. I mean, you talk to Facebook, and Facebook is making some new groundbreaking cryptocurrency. And then you talk to Boeing, and, well, Boeing's like, well, we're just like plain suck. Anyways, but everybody doing something is always making something that's groundbreaking, right? If you're talking to, the company in itself, what they're doing is always groundbreaking. When you talk to their competitor, they're going to tell you that what they're doing is not groundbreaking and what we're doing is groundbreaking. So when you go directly to someone who has, obviously a conflict of interest, of course it's going to be groundbreaking. But when you kind of look outside the realms, that's when you start to find out other things. So what I'm getting at is their Alzheimer's drug with BIIB is supposed to be groundbreaking, and it's supposed to pretty much put every other single Alzheimer's drug out of the market. And if it can be completed, then yeah, maybe there's something there. But you've seen what happened the last time stuff fell through with the Alzheimer's drug. I mean, they dropped by 100 points. So, I think that it's just a gap fill play off of some decent news, and I think more or less probably a good time to short it. Not necessarily like short it, but I think there's some money to be made to the downside is what I'm saying. Was it 8:56? Yeah, so this is kind of popping a bit. So ultimately today is just going to be like an earnings play day. Pretty much take all the earnings there are, they're decent. And when we say take all the earnings, usually I mean like looking at big companies. So we got Boeing, we have Caterpillar, IRBT, Snapchat. Take your big name companies that people know and watch those. That's usually pretty much the go-to play of days like this. Occasionally we'll get these really good runners, whether it's a bull run, it doesn't matter. Usually we get some really good plays on random stocks. Sometimes it's the most random stock, and you always miss it. Like I always miss it because it's just like you can't even see it coming. It's so out of the blue, and that's the thing. It's not a big company, or maybe it is. You're just not familiar with it, but typically it's this random ticker that might start moving on some of these days, and you just don't know because you just don't look at them. So do note that you might come across some stocks on days like this where they report earnings, they have this really great run, but pre-market they had no action, nothing, and they just kind of start running out of nowhere. Yeah, exactly, swing trade. There's so many earnings this week. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's what I mean is they always lump them in on like the same week. It's like, dude, just spread it out so we don't have to look at 30 of them in one day. I know something about Facebook went down because of like the 47 country pro or something. I honestly have not gotten caught up on Facebook in so long. I don't even think I've looked at Facebook in like 3 weeks. That's how long it's been. I would not. I can see what you're saying. You might think it's a good time to buy. I wouldn't buy it. No. Not me personally. No reason to buy Facebook yet. It's not at any sort of support. We just rejected off that pretty hard. You have earnings coming up pretty soon. I would wait till Facebook's down into like the 175s, at least the 177s. Well, considerably 180, right? Like 180 is like testing the waters. 177's like not so bad, and then 175 area, that'd be a decent bounce trade. So I'd hold off on Facebook long for now. Reed, yep, I do use a trade idea scanner. And that's because you never see it on our videos, and that's because, well, when we do this morning stream here, I have this is all like set up for just streaming and kind of working a bit. And then on the other side of my room, I have another desk with all my trading stuff on it. So my scanners are always up over there and on. And then even, when I come and make, videos, it'll be over on this side. So there's really no need for my scanners to be up at that time. So it's primarily why you don't see it. But yeah, we do use Trade Idea Scanner. Yeah. Also, Facebook. I was thinking about that yesterday. This could be definitely a good one to watch. With the big move that it had yesterday, this might have some continuation to the downside into today. So I think, there's just going to be a lot going on today with how many earnings reports we have. And I just think, take the day slow. I mean, that's just it. I mean, I'm going to try and kind of try to take today slow. I don't really want to go all crazy. There's just going to be a lot moving, a lot going on. And if I try and jump around and trade everything, I'll probably end up, giving myself a red day or something stupid. So anyways, with that being said, everybody take care. Have a great day. Sorry, because I think I was supposed to have them today, but tomorrow I'll have our Halloween coupon codes available for our trading team and our private group, so you guys can get your hands on those. But other than that, everybody take care, have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.